It's Dusty and Mike with some exciting Gaze shop updates.
Old prints are making a comeback as we're looking to clear out stock to make room for new items, including posters from Season 8 and 9.
For the remainder of the summer through Labor Day 2026, all individual prints will be $8 and all collections will be $20. That's right, it's basically a half-off sale on all of our older prints.
And when the summer is over, our older prints will only be available as collection, not as individual prints. So act now and bring some of the national parks home with you.
Head to shop.gazeatthenationalparks.com or visit the link on our website.
These low prices won't stick around forever.
Hello and welcome to Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast. I'm Dusty.
And I'm Mike, and welcome to our Season 8 Summit.
If you were joining us for the first time, our Summit episodes are like our season wrap party. It's our chance to encompass all the parks we visited this past season and view them through 4 different lenses that investigate these parks a little deeper by examining the visitor experience, the history, the environment and wildlife, and on a much grander scale, the hiking and experiences within the park.
Each season, we have also worked to tweak the format of our Summit episodes just a bit, allowing for a fresh look at the parks we covered all season long, while also touching base on important issues on the slate that need to be examined.
In this Summit episode, we're looking at visitorship across the 4 parks we visited this season. So it's sort of like an episode of Nick News featuring Linda Ellerby, a show we both grew up on. Did you used to watch Nick News?
I didn't.
You
I was
didn't?
not a Nick News watcher.
Oh, God. Nick News was like my first NPR.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was like NPR for kids.
Nick News walked so NPR could run.
Maybe. I would say...
Nick News jogged alongside NPR.
Well, what it was legitimate journalism for young
Kids.
people.
Yeah.
And...
They have CNN Kids now or something like that.
Yeah, they have something like that.
Yeah.
But the Linda Ellerby, who was the host and head journalist of Nick News, just did an absolutely beautiful job of not centering herself, centering the story, but using herself as an access point. That is literally the definition of journalism.
Yeah.
And she just modeled what actual journalism looked like. It was like, I'm curious, I'm investigating, or like, I'm curious and I'm learning more, and I'm taking things with me, and I'm also understanding something in greater context.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is what she did every week. I showed up every Sunday for Nick News.
Okay, no, it was something that I definitely didn't latch onto as a kid, but I do appreciate the fact that it was there, and I definitely, I'm sure, sparked a lot of interest in the world for kids that were maybe coming to Nickelodeon for other things. Yeah.
Nickelodeon also at that time, it was like during the birth of Nickelodeon, like it was run by women. It was one of the first networks ever that was entirely like women run. Mm-hmm. And it makes perfect sense for them to say, we need like legitimate journalism for kids, you know, like, and I'm not getting that as often. Well, now, because obviously I'm not the audience for it, but you know, I know that there is legitimate journalism for young people now. I mean, I remember, you know, when I was teaching, there was a lot of incredible resources and that still exists now. Specifically Newsy LA, did love them. Mm-hmm. A site that employed actual writers. There was no AI used at the time. I'm certainly hoping that's still the case now, where there would be an article and you could select like, okay, I want this article for a 1st to 3rd grade reading level, 3rd through 5th, 6th through 8th, 9th through 12th, whatever it was. And you could access the story.
Oh, that's cool.
The news story in different ways. So yes, God, I loved Nick News. All of my friends thought I was so boring because I loved it. And you know what?
Mm-hmm. I had
jokes on them. I am boring.
And I had my Nick News tote and my mouse pad.
Okay, so I didn't have a Nick News tote, but I did have a Trading Spaces tote.
Of course you did.
Because I did love that show. Okay, so let's talk first about the parks we visited this season. Obviously, this summit is on visitorship. So, Mike, remind us just quickly, what national parks did we visit this season?
We visited Death Valley National Park, Pinnacles National Park, White Sands National Park, and Saguaro National Park.
That's right. And at the beginning of the season, in our trail map episode, which parks did we say we were going to visit this season?
We said Death Valley National Park. We said Saguaro National Park. We also said Biscayne National Park, Everglades National Park, and Dry Tortugas National Park.
Yeah, and did we get to those latter three?
We did not.
We did not.
We have not visited yet.
We haven't even visited.
No, and we
thought we were
to,
visiting, and then it didn't happen.
It did not.
So pivot.
Mm-hmm. As I learned all too well as a teacher during the pandemic.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Just like Ross with the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about some things to remember while visiting a national park. Okay, first up is arrival and parking. What are some things we need to remember about arrival and parking when it comes to a national park?
The earlier, the better.
Yeah.
Get there early.
Y'all, we've been to 40, how many? 43?
43 now, yeah.
43.
Yeah.
At the end of next month, we'll be at 46.
That's right.
And if there is one thing that is universally true about almost every national park, it's like drive in at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Get there at 5:30 or 6
yeah.
even, because those parking lots fill up.
Yep.
If you stroll in at 10 a.m.,
Good
there's
luck.
not going to be parking likely, and you likely won't get to do the thing you want to do.
Right.
So arriving early and often. We even have a sticker that says
hike early
and hike often.
Yep.
And you hear it in every one of our outros of every episode.
Yep.
So we highly recommend doing this no matter the park, no matter the place. It's always important.
Yep.
What about knowing what to bring?
I think that depends on the park you're going to, but you always want to have boots. You also should have a day pack of some sort with a water bladder of some sort.
Or bottles, whatever
it is. Whatever,
things.
something that's, you need to have salty snacks with you. And depending on time of year and spaces you're going to, layers.
That's right.
And potentially rain gear.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also, depending on, which park you're in and what's being preserved, knowing the space, doing research ahead of time so that like we just went to St. John, which is mostly national park, and there's a very specific kind of sunscreen you have to wear while you're there. That sunscreen is available there, but you also want to do the research to make sure that if you are bringing sunscreen with you or something like that, it's safe for the environment. And also take your trash out with you.
That's right. Always.
Hugely important when you are visiting that you take your trash out. What about knowing what you can access when it comes to a park? Not everything is open or always accessible.
That's true.
So,
it's a good idea to check the park website before visiting, depending on maybe where you're at. For example, if you're hiking in a park in Washington State, there's the Washington State Trail Association, which is a great resource that talks about all different trails throughout the state and national forests, national monuments, national parks, state parks. Not a sponsor, but All Trails is always a great resource to take a look at to see what a recent visitor experience may have been. But for most up-to-date information, it's probably the park website.
And also to call the visitor center. The folks at the visitor center are always extremely informed, and we have found that to be universally true across all of the parks we visited.
That's right.
And there are many, 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 many times. I mean, we'll even call visitor centers when we're preparing to record an episode because we want to just make sure something is right. We'll call and say hey, I wanted to double check this piece of information and also to see if this is open during this time. I mean, it is so important to call because, you can't just assume that, I'm going to Yosemite and Yosemite Falls is going to be open and I'm going to do that hike. You can't make any of those assumptions. You have to, can I get to Yosemite? Are they doing a ticketing system? Which they're not right now, but chaos. Can I access Yosemite Falls? Is it all open? What's the deal? Doing research ahead of time. And then finally, talking about the visitor center, let's talk about entrance fees. This works a little differently in every park, and sometimes each park has a different price.
Or sometimes depending on the park. While it's suggested, the park is in the midst of a major highway or a major byway for people to travel to. So do you have to have a park pass? Not necessarily, or pay an entrance fee. I'm thinking about Smoky Mountains because the Blue Ridge Parkway runs through. There's not really an entrance station per se.
There isn't always, but when it comes to certain areas of parks, that's typically when they would put an entrance station to access certain areas via certain roads from certain directions. There is an annual pass. We typically buy an annual pass. Obviously, right now, we're in a situation where the annual pass looks a certain way.
Sure does.
And we're not interested in having that. So I would definitely check out the Etsy shop from the person that built the covers that you can put over them so you don't have to see that awful person's face on your park pass. The other thing that is good to remember about visitor center fees is that visitor center fees are inconsistent, meaning like you might go to a park on the East Coast and it might be free. And then you might go to a park on the West Coast and there's a fee. And you might go to a park in Washington State and there's no fee. You know what I mean? So it's calling ahead of time and making sure that you do your research. And then you can say like, well, I have a park pass. Will it work in all these spaces?
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
But speaking of entrance fees, we could not talk about visitorship and entrance fees if we didn't mention something currently happening with the national park entrance fees. At this time, $67 million are currently being diverted away from national parks and to Washington, D.C. $60 million of it is going to repair 9 of D.C.'s ornamental fountains, and $7 million is going toward the Lincoln reflecting pool. These upgrades are being used to, quote unquote, beautify these fountains and to make these fountains appear more in the aesthetic of our current failure-in-chief.
Given the unending backlog of updates and upgrades needed to national parks and national park sites, this is an outrageous diversion of funds. The current backlog includes much-needed repairs to infrastructure, including bathrooms, visitor centers, campgrounds, and roads. You know, the things we use to access the parks and the things that staff use every day to report to work.
Now, this may sound like an overreach or a misuse of funds, but unfortunately and technically it is not. According to the Federal Land Recreation Enhancement Act of 2004, 80% of collected entrance fees must stay in the park that collected them, and 20% can be used to fund outside projects of the park.
For comparison, during the Biden administration, the 20% of these funds was used to fix a major water pipeline in the Grand Canyon. And given the absolute needs that exist in the backlog, $67 million being diverted to fountain beautification on the National Mall seems like an absolute misuse of funds.
Okay, so here we are. We've talked about the backlog many times. There is a backlog. So for instance, most people or a lot of people who go to national parks are familiar with this backlog, but say you go to a national park and there's a bathroom that is closed because it needs repair. That is likely on the backlog. Or this trail is closed because they need to repair some steps on it. That's on the backlog.
Sure, or that bridge that's a part of, I believe it's Rainier, that section of Rainier that is indefinitely closed because this bridge is in a state that should not be used.
It's the only bridge, right? So those things get put on the backlog.
Right.
And right now we're at like $43 billion in the backlog.
Something like
projects
that
need to be fixed. Obviously, comparatively, the Biden administration did take, that 20% that was collected from parks and then divert it toward fixing that major water pipeline in the Grand Canyon. That, to me, feels like a more appropriate use of funds. I'm sure there are other people who have other opinions, of course, but that certainly isn't just like 250th anniversary beautification and making fountains gold just because I think it looks pretty.
Right.
But that's what we're working with.
It sure is.
Because a lot of us went to the polls and
chose chaos
and chose disrespect and misuse of all of the resources that we put into our government. So that's the situation we're in. But let's talk a little bit more about the parks we visited this season and some things to know about them. And sort of some things we highlighted about them when we visited them. And we're going to do that through playing some games, shall we?
We shall.
We know that there are so many ways to get outside and explore the national parks. And if you are thinking about finally renting an RV this summer to have an adventure of a lifetime, then look no further than Outdoorsy. Outdoorsy is the most trusted RV rental marketplace in the United States, making it easy for anyone to rent an RV or camper without owning one.
They have thousands of RVs and campers nationwide, available right in your neighborhood, and you can have it delivered and fully set up at your destination. It's so easy. It's only 3 simple steps to get started on your adventure.
First, search and choose an RV that fits your trip and group size. Then, book with confidence. Insurance, support, and protection are all included. And finally, Hit the road or arrive and relax, whether you're driving, towing, or getting it delivered.
As people who love exploring and love getting into the national parks, we don't own an RV or camper, but sometimes we want that. And that's why Outdoorsy is the perfect solution.
Right now, our listeners can have all service fees removed from their booking in 2026 with code GAZE at outdoorsy.com. That's OUTDOORSY.com, and use our code GAZE, GAZE, at checkout to remove service fees. And that is outdoorsy.com. Hey y'all, it's Dusty and Mike with exciting news.
That's right, it's our episode finder. It's all about making finding our episodes even easier.
Want to find more episodes about hikes in Shenandoah? With over 10 episodes across 2 separate seasons, it would have involved a lot of scrolling and searching.
Now, with our episode finder, you can find all those episodes with a few easy clicks. That way, finding an episode on Yosemite from season 1 is just as easy as finding an episode on Zion, Yellowstone, and Haleakala, all in separate seasons.
With over 275 episodes in 35 different national parks, our episode finder will add ease when finding out more about hikes in these spaces.
But it's not just about hikes by national park. We've categorized our entire library so you can find hikes by state, hikes by terrain, and hikes by difficulty.
And all of our Trail Mix episodes are there too, so you can easily find our science-based episodes, interviews, and more.
Planning a trip to Colorado and want to hear more about our adventures there? Want to grunt it out on some really tricky trails or learn more about glaciers, grasslands, and mountains?
Just click the link in our show notes or on our Instagram bio, and it pops right up. You can also head directly to our website and look for the episode finder at the top of the navigation bar.
Conquer one hike in one national park, one park at a time, with just a few clicks with our episode finder. Happy trails!
All right, Mike, so we're going to start with some games.
Okay, great.
I have written 4.
Beautiful.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell you the categories of these games, but what you're going to do is at the end of them, they have a few questions each. You're going to see if you can guess the common theme.
Okay.
And then there's like a little bit of an extra thing to guess after that.
Okay.
Okay, great. So round 1 for 100. The way this round works is you are identifying a year.
Oh, great.
And I'm going to tell you some events that happened in this year, and you're going to try and name the year. You can guess as many times as you want. I have 4 or 5 facts for each year.
Okay.
Okay. So up first, the pilot of Friends premiered on NBC.
What is 1992?
Incorrect. America was glued to the TV watching the O.J. Simpson case.
What is 1991?
Incorrect. Big hits at the movie theater included Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, and The Lion King.
What's 1995?
Incorrect. Bill Clinton was president.
What's 1994?
Correct.
There we go.
It was 1994.
Jesus. Sweat.
Okay, for 200. Beyonce dropped her surprise album.
What's 2018?
Incorrect. Game of Thrones featured The Red Wedding.
What's 2016?
Incorrect. Orange is the New Black premiered on Netflix.
What's 2015?
Incorrect. The end of an era, 30 Rock ended its run on NBC.
What's 2017?
Incorrect. Barack Obama was the president.
What's 2014?
Incorrect.
Oh.
We were looking for what is 2013.
Great.
Okay, for 400. Game of Thrones ended its run on HBO before spinoffs.
What's 2019?
That is right. Do you want to hear the other facts that were included
Sure.
here? Avengers Endgame premiered in theaters. Lady Gaga wins Oscar for songwriting. The creepy movie Us from Jordan Peele premiered in theaters. And Aunt Becky paid somebody to write her kids' essays for college admission. Okay, finally, for 400. The film King Kong premiered in New York.
Like the original King Kong?
Yep.
What's 1931?
Incorrect. The first drive-in theater opened in Camden, New Jersey.
What's 1937?
Incorrect. The hit song of the year was Stormy Weather, since my man and I ain't together.
What's 1952?
Incorrect. Carol Burnett and Joan Rivers were both born this year.
What's 1925?
Incorrect. FDR was the U.S. president.
What's 1934?
Oh my God, you were so close. What is 1933?
Great.
Okay, so what was the common theme here?
So 1933, 2013, 1994,
94 and 2019.
And 2019. Were these also the establishing dates of national parks that we visited this season?
That is correct.
Great.
And now can you pair those dates up with those years up with the parks that they correspond with? So let's start with 1933.
What is Death Valley National Park? That is
right. Okay, now let's go to the next one, which was 1994.
Is this when they became parks or when they were officially recognized as...
This is when they achieved national park status.
Like of the big national parks, like, and that, yes.
National park status. Not monument. Became a thing in the MPS. Okay. Not first protected. It was when they became an official national park. So 1933 was Death Valley.
Okay, great.
Okay, 1994.
Saguaro.
That's right. 2013.
2013 is Pinnacles.
That's right, which means 2019 was...
White Sands.
That's right.
I knew that was the newest.
White Sands became a national park on December 20th, 2019, which was right before Christmas that year. I remember that. They became park number 62. Okay, so...
I hope they used White Christmas as a part of their marketing campaign.
Maybe they did. I hope they did.
Hi, low-hanging fruit.
I know. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Death Valley National Park, located in the land also known as California. It was established as a national park in 1933, as we just said. In 2025, it received 1.32 million visitors. That was its fourth highest visitation year. Its highest visitation year was 2019 with 1.74 million visitors.
Check out our episodes 141 through 148 for episodes on the trails of Death Valley. The trails featured in these episodes include smaller trails where you can see pupfish near Ash Meadow National Wildlife Refuge, Badwater Basin, the Golden Canyon Loop, Natural Bridge, Artist Palette, Yuba Hebe Crater, the Sand Dunes, Mosaic Canyon, and Mount Perry.
We also have trail mix episodes on hiking in the heat, water conservation in the desert, and dark sky parks. Okay, are you ready for our next game, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, round 2. Here we go. There are 3 questions.
Great.
This state boasts the largest contiguous ponderosa pine forest in the world. It features 13 different species of rattlesnakes and is known as the rattlesnake capital of the U.S. and has 22 federally recognized indigenous groups, the largest being the Navajo.
What is Arizona?
That's right. Okay, for 200. This is the only state where one can see the oldest and tallest trees on Earth. It produces around 80% of the world's almonds, and it experiences about 10,000 earthquakes a year.
What is California?
That's correct. And finally, this state has 2 official languages, including Spanish and English. Its state capital predates Plymouth Rock and is considered the oldest capital in North America. And its capital city sits at 7,198 feet above sea level, making it the highest capital city in the U.S.
Well, I want to say New Mexico because it's also where we went to, but I think it's Colorado.
Nope, that's New Mexico.
Okay, great. So I should have stuck with my best first guess.
That's right. Okay,
great.
So what was the theme here?
These are the states that we visited when we went to the 4 parks this season.
That's right.
Yep.
So let's make it very easy here. Which park is in Arizona?
That would be Saguaro.
Which park was in New Mexico?
That would be White Sands.
And then which 2 parks were in California?
That is Death Valley and Pinnacles National Park.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about Saguaro National Park. It's located in the land also known as Arizona. It was established as a national park, as we mentioned, in 1994. And in 2025, it received 847,000 visitors as compared to 2024 when it received 946,000 visitors.
Check out our episodes 155 through 158 for episodes on trails in Saguaro National Park. The trails featured in these episodes include Wasson Peak via the Hugh Norris Trail and the Sendero Esperanza Trail, the Cactus Forest Loop, the Park Road Loop, and sites from both the east and west sides of Saguaro.
We also have a trail mix episode on the many cacti of Saguaro National Park. Okay, Mike, are you ready for our next game?
Yes.
Here we go. For 100. In this popular Sherlock Holmes series by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, this character serves as Holmes' assistant in helping him solve cases.
Who is Watson?
That's correct. For 200. When ordering a margarita, you might be asked if you would like this on the rim of the glass.
What is salt?
Correct. For 300. A popular term in the Northeast, this phrase describes someone who commutes into Manhattan via one of these two modes of connection.
What is bridge and tunnel?
That's right. And then for 400. Beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium appear as group 2 on the periodic table of elements and are grouped together due to being highly metallic, shiny, and silvery white. And the 2 electrons on their outer shell makes them easy to pair with others for compounds. This group is collectively known as this.
What are metals?
Yes, but be more specific.
What are noble metals?
No, these are not the noble. There aren't
noble metals. There's
no,
noble
noble
gases. I know.
We were looking for what is the alkaline earth metals.
Alkaline earth metals.
Okay, so the answers here were Watson, salt, bridge and tunnel, and alkaline earth metals. So what do you think the theme was here?
Does this all somehow relate to Death Valley National Park?
No, we were not looking for that. What we were looking for, however, is things that almost sound like trails or things you might see in one of the 4 national parks.
Got it. So Wasson Peak
so let's
for
talk
Watson?
about exactly. Watson was Wasson Peak in Saguaro National Park. Salt.
Salt would be like the gypsum sand? No. Oh, would it be the Badwater Basin?
Yeah, the salt flats in Death Valley.
Okay.
Correct. Bridge and tunnel.
Was this tunnel trail in Pinnacles National Park?
That is correct. Yeah. And finally, alkaline earth metals.
Is this the Alkali Flats Trail in White Sands National Park?
That is correct.
Great.
You did it, girl. Now, let's talk a little bit about Pinnacles National Park, located in the land also known as California. It was established as a national park in 2013. In 2025, it received 343,000 visitors and reached a personal record of 113,000 overnight stays, which included us. We were a part of that number.
Check out our episodes 149 through 152 for episodes on trails in Pinnacles National Park. The trails featured in these episodes include the Bear Gulch Caves, High Peaks Trail, the Condor Gulch Trail, Balconies Cliff Trail, and Tunnel Trail.
And we also feature a trail mix episode on California condors and all the interpersonal drama of being in a California condor polycule. So do check that one out. Okay, are you ready for our final game?
Yes.
Here we go. Round 4 for 100. This term is used across social media makeup tutorials to describe shading and highlighting one's face to enhance or adjust the appearance of the shape of one's face.
What is contouring?
Correct. For 200. This musical by Arthur Lawrence, Julie Stein, and Stephen Sondheim is considered the greatest written musical of all time and was most recently revived, starring Audra McDonald.
What is gypsy?
Correct. For 300, if Georgia O'Keeffe were using this tool in woodworking that allows the user to strike something without damaging the surface, we might call it a this. Start with the end. What's a woodworking tool that allows you to strike something without damaging the surface?
What's a rasp? What's a
or
chisel?
Or even if you were to hammer something without damaging the surface, what tool would you use?
What's a hammer?
It's a type of hammer.
What's it?
It's a soft hammer that allows...
What's a rubber mallet?
Mallet, thank you. And Georgia O'Keeffe is a what?
Painter?
Broader, bigger, more general.
Woman. What is
Between
an artist?
Woman, thank you. So we would call it an artist mallet. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. And for 400, if someone were to place a body mic on the starring creator of Girls on HBO, they might be doing this. Admittedly, this is a stretch. We're doing things that are a stretch here. I hope you get that.
Miking Dunham?
Oh my God, you're close. But I want you to think of her first name and think of the very specific term for a body mic.
Laving Leah? Lava Leah?
Not her name is not Leah.
Oh, Lena. Laving Lena.
Lava Lena.
Okay.
Okay, great. To lave Alina.
Sure.
Great. So, what do you think the theme here is?
Animals found in parks that we visited.
Not necessarily animals, but
flora or fauna.
Things that you can see in parks that we visited.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start with contour.
What's a California condor?
That's right. It sounds like it sounds like condor. So that's where we got that from. Gypsy.
What is gypsum sand?
Which can be found
in White Sands National Park. It's
That's
one
right.
of the largest gypsum sand fields in the world.
I think it is the largest gypsum sand. I don't think there's many others.
Okay.
Artist mallet.
What is artist palette, which can be found in Badwater Basin area of Death Valley National Park?
And Lavalina.
What is javelina, which are animals which are in the rodent family. They're not in the pig family, that we did not see in Saguaro National Park when we were both there, but you later got to see when you went back to Tucson
and they're amazing.
For a work trip.
They are amazing. Okay, and finally, everybody, let's end this with a little bit about White Sands National Park. It was established in 2019, and in 2024, it received 702,000 visitors.
Check out our episodes 153 and 154 for episodes on the trails in White Sands. The trails featured in these episodes include the Dune Life Nature Trail, the Playa Trail, the Interdune, did we call it Interlude Boardwalk the entire time? I don't
think so. I think we called it Interdune.
Are you sure it's not Interlude?
I'm sure. I just looked at
I'm pretty sure we called it Interlude Boardwalk the entire trip. That whole...
Oh, well.
The Interdune Boardwalk, which we probably called Interlude Boardwalk in the episode that we talked about it in, and the Alkali Flats Trail.
We also feature a Trail Mix episode on the wildlife of White Sands. Okay, so of the 4 parks we visited, which one would you visit again today?
Well, maybe not today considering time of year, but I would absolutely go back to Death Valley in like a heartbeat.
Oh my God, in a second. What a special place.
At the end of May, start of June.
No.
No. In February.
In February.
Mm-hmm.
In December.
Yeah.
Things like that. That time. For sure.
Be sure to check out the episodes on White Sands National Park, Saguaro National Park, Pinnacles National Park, and Death Valley National Park featured in Season 8.
And check out our other end-of-season Summit episodes, including episodes on wildlife, histories, and hiking trails.
Looking for more episodes like the one you just heard? Then be sure to check out our episode finder for episodes by park, state, hiking difficulty, and terrain, as well as all of our Trail Mix episodes in one helpful place. Click the link in the show notes of this episode, our Instagram bio, or visit our website to make your listening experience even easier.
This has been Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast, and we're here to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created, produced, edited, and hosted by us,
Dustin Dowler
and Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on this show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's Gaze, G-A-Z-E.
All original artwork featured on Instagram and on our website is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written and performed by Dave Seaman and Mariella Klinger, with Sean Sklios on guitar. Our music producer is Skylar Fortgang.
We would also like to acknowledge that while recording this episode that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as New Jersey.